Hello there. Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 7 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. Today I want to talk about the process of self-determination and specifically the science of self-determination. Because I think that's what most of us want. We want to be able to be more influential in our lives, to not have how we feel and how we think being determined by some situation or person outside of our control. We want to have more influence over that. But most people don't know the science behind that, and therefore they have a hard time doing it. They find themselves caught in a cycle where certain situations or people are triggering certain responses, and it almost feels like I got to change that person or situation before I can change my response. What I like to do is look at what is really going on. And what is really going on has to do with how the brain processes information. For those of you who follow my Life from the Top of the Mind philosophy, this is what I talk about when I go out and give my seminars and my books, my coaching, my counseling. That we've got these 3 parts to the brain. Lower part of the brain is called the brainstem. This is where our fight or flight responses are located. It's the part of the brain that regulates our muscle tension, heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, etc. Middle part of the brain is called the limbic system. This is where our emotions are triggered for the most part, but it's also the part of the brain that actually becomes the determinant of how we think and feel. It is actually the gatekeeper or the scanner, processor, router part of the brain. It scans incoming data, processes it or interprets it, and then either routes it back down to the brainstem or up to the upper 80% of the brain, the neocortex, what I call the top of the mind, where we have access to our clarity, confidence, creativity, our ability to affect how we think and how we feel. That's where self-determination comes from. So the part of the self that is determining how we think and feel at the moment is unconscious. That limbic system is unconscious. So what we've got to do is raise our level of awareness of what's going on. That quote from Albert Einstein comes to mind that says, problems cannot be solved at the same level of awareness that created them. Or Carl Jung that says, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will control our lives, but we will call it fate. So we don't want this unconscious part of the brain determining how we feel. We don't want that part of ourself determining how we feel. We want to have more influence over that. So the first thing we've got to be able to do is to shift from the brainstem to the neocortex so that we can have more influence, so we can be more purposeful in how this limbic system engages life. Then we have to know how to stay there. So otherwise we'll just find ourselves falling back down in the brainstem every time we find ourselves dealing with a difficult person or situation. And then, if we want to be influential with others, we've got to know how to get them to shift from that brainstem to that neocortex, from their resistant brain to their receptive brain so they can truly hear and understand what we're wanting them to know. This is the 3-part system I call Life from the Top of the Mind. But it starts with an awareness of the science of self-determination. It starts with an awareness of what is truly going on. Once we get, okay, it's my limbic system that is interpreting a certain situation in a way that's triggering my brainstem, good information. What I want to do is take that reaction, shift it to the upper 80% of the brain, and then be able to stay there and have this upper 80%, this clear, confident, creative part of who I am, begin to influence the limbic system. Begin to reprogram, in a sense, the limbic system. So it starts interpreting life in a way that we actually find ourselves in this upper 80% of the brain so much more consistently. If this is something you would like for yourself, for your organization, this is what I love to do. I go around the world teaching people this philosophy and this system. All you got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com. Hit the contact button, let me know what you're interested in, or just Google Bill Crawford, I'll come up on the first page. Hit that contact button, let me know what you're interested in. I'd love to come and talk with you about how to help you and or your organization kind of shift from that brainstem to the upper 80% of the brain, to become more powerful, more influential in your life and in the lives of others. In the meantime, here's to you bringing more clarity, confidence, and creativity into everything you do. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.